Is cash still king during high inflation? And how much cash is too much cash in your bank account? Everybody has an opinion on how much cash you should have in your bank accounts, right? But I know we need cash to pay our bills every month. We need cash in our rainy day fund just in case we get a blown tire on the road. We need cash in our emergency fund just in case we lose our jobs to pay for our bills and expenses. We also need cash to buy stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, and real estate. We need cash to invest now so we can achieve financial independence and retire early by 45. So the common question I get from my clients is how much cash they should keep in their checking and savings accounts. What percentage of their net worth should they keep in cash? Do I really wear pants when I'm recording this video? I don't know. Maybe. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Sai and welcome. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what percentage of our net worth is kept in cash, how we allocate our income to savings and investments, and how much money we keep in our checking account every month to pay our bills. How much cash you should keep in your bank account depends entirely on your current financial situation, like your income and expenses. There are times when you need more cash if you're saving for a down payment for your house, saving cash for your personal or your kids' medical expenses, or saving cash to upgrade your kitchen or buy new sets of furniture. Before you start saving cash or investing cash into your brokerage accounts, you need to know why you're saving your money. What is the purpose of having 10, 20, or 30% of your net worth in cash? What is the purpose of investing your money into the stock market? Also, don't forget to check out my Grammarly affiliate link in the description below. Now let's talk about how my wife and I allocate our cash. We have a combined budget and we allocate a certain amount of cash aside in our checking account each month. And how much you want to keep in your checking account depends entirely on your comfort level. And we want to carry over $3,000 in cash each month so we never have to worry about our checking account going below zero. So basically what that means is that on the 30th or 31st of each month, we're going to have exactly $3,000 carrying over to the next month. If we end up with $3,500 on the 30th, then we'll save or invest that extra $500. If we have $2,900, then we won't stress too much about it. And if we have less than $2,000, then we'll need to look at our budget to figure out why we're spending more in that month. I always recommend my clients to keep a balance based on their total monthly recurring bills. For example, we have a total of $2,900 that comes out of our checking account each month that goes to our bills like mortgage, internet, and utilities. Since we get paid every 2 weeks, our paychecks don't necessarily align with the billing due dates. Keeping that $3,000 balance would prevent us from getting hit with overdraft fees, and it kind of serves as an emergency fund in our checking account in case something goes wrong with our income. And speaking of an emergency fund, we like to keep at least 6 months of our expenses and a rainy day fund in a high yield savings account with Ally Bank, and this video is not sponsored by Ally Bank. When you're just starting to build your emergency fund now, keep in mind that you should have a rainy day fund before an emergency fund. A rainy day fund is when you need the cash right away to replace a blown tire, medical or dental deductibles, or something else that's urgent and unexpected. An emergency fund is used to cover your living expenses while you're looking for a new source of income. Now that we have a fully funded emergency fund, we just combine our rainy day fund and emergency fund. With Ally Bank, you can create savings bucket to allocate your money within the emergency fund. And for us, we have 4 buckets. One is for a family emergency, and that's if my wife or I have to fly out within 24 hours and plane tickets could be expensive, right? We also include the cost of a rental car, hotel, and food since our families live outside of Las Vegas. The second bucket here is, and none of these buckets are in any particular order, is for the car insurance deductibles and fees for the rental car if we ever get into a car accident. If your car insurance deductible is $500, then you should have at least $500 in this bucket. The third bucket is our medical and dental deductibles and copays, but only for our emergency room or urgent care visits. If you don't know how much that is, then I encourage you to visit your health insurance website to find out. If your copay for an ER visit is $100 and you have 4 total people in your family, then you should have at least $400 saved in this bucket. And the last bucket is your 3 to 6 months of expenses in case you lose your job. My rule of thumb is if you're in a dual income family, then I would keep at least 3 months of expenses if one of your spouses can cover the entire expenses while the other spouse looks for a new job. If you're a single income family or one of you can't cover the entire expenses, then I would keep at least 6 months of expenses in this bucket. And our total emergency fund is about $30,000, and we plan to keep the balance the same unless we have any changes in income or expenses. You should stress test your emergency fund at least once a year to make sure you have enough saved to keep up with inflation. By the way, if you need help with your personal finances, you can schedule a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session by visiting firesidechat.com/coaching. My wife and I are aggressively saving for our early retirement. Right now, we're saving anywhere between 60 and 65% of our income. How much cash you should have also depends on your net worth. We're always going to have $30,000 in our emergency fund and $3,000 in our checking account. If our net worth is $100,000, then we will have 33% of cash set aside. But it's not always going to be 33% because then we will be focused on investing. Eventually, that cash allocation will drop to 20%, 15%, or even 10% depending on how much we invest. However, if our net worth increases to $1 million, then the $33,000 cash allocation would become 3.3%, which then we would have too much invested and not enough cash. Ideally, we would like to maintain anywhere between 15 and 20% of our net worth in cash. We have a purpose for every dollar we save, and we have several savings accounts with Ally Bank, and we give each account a purpose. We have a savings account for discretionary like birthday presents, birthday parties, anniversaries, and Christmas presents. We have a savings account for our travel expenses because traveling is a big part of our lives. We want to travel overseas at least once a year and stateside 4 to 5 times a year. We have another savings account for large non-discretionary expenses like taxes, car insurance, car maintenance, and annual DMV registration fees because we live in the state of Nevada. We designate these savings accounts as our short-term cash reserve because we'll most likely need this cash to pay for any expenses in the next 12 months. We also have our long-term cash reserve, and it's broken down into several buckets. And one of them is for future real estate purchases. And right now we have most of this money invested in an index fund because we're not looking to buy any rental properties in the foreseeable future because the mortgage rate is too high and home prices in Las Vegas are still at an all-time high. We have another bucket that is used for investing, and we dollar cost average our investment, and right now stocks are trading at a pretty good discount. We have separate checking accounts with Chase and Schwab to keep cash just for investments. Otherwise, we'll continue to dollar cost average into index funds like VT-SAX and VFIAX without timing the market. We only time the prices when it comes to individual stocks, and you can check out this video about spending $30,000 on a stock and index fund, and I will put that link in the description below. By the way, you can get our free fire resources by visiting firesidechat.com/contact. You can also check out the Fireside Chat shop, and I have all of my stuff on my bookshelf at firesidechat.com/shopping. Like I said earlier, we're consistently investing 60 to 65% of our income each month. So for every dollar we have coming in, we try to put at least 60 cents into our savings and investments. Let me break down what we're investing in right now. I have $20,500 that goes to my TSP and another $5,800 from the employer match. My wife has a total of $23,000 that goes to her pension fund for the year. We also have a health savings account, or HSA, in the total amount of $7,300 a year for the family plan. We each have a Roth IRA that we contribute to, and that's a total of $12,000 a year. We're also investing in an additional $50,000 a year into our taxable brokerage accounts. That's a total of $118,000, including the employer contributions. What does $118,000 a year get us in return? So with an 8% average annual rate of return, that's $1.1 million in 7 years, and that's not counting the beginning balance we already have. Let's take out the $50,000 investment into the taxable brokerage accounts, and it would still take us and only take us 10 years to achieve $1 million with the same rate of return. The $50,000 we contribute to our taxable brokerage accounts is divided between cash, index funds, and individual stocks. We keep about 10 to 15% in cash within those brokerage accounts, money market fund, and buy investments almost on a weekly basis. We would like to keep at least 50% index funds and 50% individual stocks. And by no means this is financial advice. We do extensive research before purchasing any stocks in our portfolios. With index funds like VT Stacks and VFIAX, we just automate our investments and buy with a certain amount every single week. So cash is definitely king when we have stocks trading at a discount like in 2022. You may hear people say cash is trash or cash is losing its value, but you need cash to buy investments, right? If you have invested everything into stocks or mutual funds all the time and you don't have any cash to spare, you're probably not diversifying enough. And you also want to prioritize your retirement savings up to the maximum contribution limit so you can make those dollars work for your future you. You have to be intentional with every dollar you spend and every dollar you save and invest. We have a budget to invest for our early retirement when we turn 45 years old. We have a budget to invest for our normal retirement age at 59 and a half, and save for our short-term cash reserve for both discretionary and non-discretionary purchases. I encourage you to take a look at your savings account and find out how much of your net worth is kept in cash. Do you have enough cash to pay for your rainy day fund? And if you want to know more about how to diversify your investment, be sure to check out these two videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.